So this happened yesterday, and this has never happened before. People say, everything under the sun has happened before. Well, not in the United States. The U.S. has never seen this before. Yes, this is not a surprise. I predicted this, people, just about a month ago, that conservative, right-leaning people would become more militarized, act more like a militia, and become more anarchistic. Had to make up a word just for it. So the reason this happened was because they are protesting, so to speak, the impeachment process, which is just in its first stage, which occurs in the House of Representatives, and they're having closed-door meetings, which is normal. They are just gathering information, getting someone's testimony. Republicans are not being shut out of this. There are Republicans in that meeting, and some of them actually joined in the protest, which shows you they're completely disingenuous assholes. And that's right, they are. They always have been. And I've been saying that. The time is over to give these people the benefit of the doubt. They have shown who they are. Around the middle of the day, it occurred to me that this is more obstruction of justice. They're doing it right out in the open, physically now, and they're filming it. And now I see that the Young Turks realize the same thing, clear obstruction of justice.
In an effort to obstruct justice and pivot the conversation to the issue that Republicans have with the process of the impeachment investigation, attempted to storm a room where one of Trump's officials was actually testifying in a deposition to members of Congress.
Look at these dicks. Oh, by the way, yeah, you do see a lot of men here, but there are some cunts in there too. And we can't just blame Trump for this. There's a lot of people that are going right along with him. Trump is the poster boy for these people. Lindsey Graham, as I was shown how rotten he is. Speaking of rotten, there's Ted Cruz. Well, speaking of rotten, Geraldo Rivera, who said he wants to punch out the rotten snitch who blew the whistle on Trump's Ukraine call. We don't know who this person is. Could be some grandmother that he wants to punch out.
The President of the United States, in a conversation that was intercepted by a rotten snitch, I'd love to whap him.
These Republicans are claiming this process is unfair, but it is not. They were saying if this was a trial with somebody else besides Trump, they would get to know what's going on. That just shows how much lying scum they are, because this is not a trial. They are just gathering information. The trial comes later and will be in front of all of the Senate members.
Long list of Republican lawmakers, lying to the American public and whining about someone in a position of power being held accountable for his illegal actions. Take a look.
It's finally reached a boiling point where members just said they are so frustrated at the idea that they can't be a part of this and see what's going on.
Well, that's bullshit. Why would they care? Their whole party is about not caring. Their party is not better off with Trump. It is worse off. Gotta wonder if they're being blackmailed or coerced in some way.
Waiting for a more open and transparent process.
And a whole bunch of Republican Congress members that were duly elected just tried to get in to find out what is going in these closed door hearings.
Members have just had it. They want to be able to see and represent their constituents and find out what's going on.
We, the people, have had enough of this. You are all risking the future of America. You are risking anarchy and a civil war. I've got proof that there's a lot of people that have had enough of this, had enough of getting screwed as Americans. The proof is that so many people voted for Trump for president. Trump, Doddard Trump, the reality show host, the well-known scam artist, sexual assaulter, and thief. A lot of people voted for him because they see the American system as cancer, and they see Donald Trump as chemotherapy.
This is unconscionable. This is very unfair to the president.
Fuck you, bitch. And some other fucker. He's taking the words of how our system works and is completely using it to lie to the American people. This is an elected Republican. He says the American people vote for a president, and it shouldn't be decided by Pelosi, as in Pelosi shouldn't be able to just take away people's votes. But she is not doing that, and she does not have the power to do that. The people that will end up voting on whether Trump is removed or not are the 100 members of the Senate, elected officials, which will review all the information and make a decision.
Going to cry and whine and pretend as though the process in which this investigation is taking place is wrong, it's unfair.
These people will pull a publicity stunt, just like Trump likes to do, to trick the American people. It's all just one big hijack. You know how Trump projects what he's thinking. Remember a few weeks ago, he was using the word coup to describe what Democrats are doing. Well, I think he was projecting himself, what he has been doing all along.
It was treason.
The Republicans stopped a government process illegally. They shouldn't have been allowed in the room. There's no cell phones allowed in a SCIF. And they were recording, they could have been recording information that was secret. And then they put this cell phone footage out onto the internet as part of their publicity stunt to gain control over the media narrative that the public is hearing. All the while undermining our whole system, which they've done many times before. Remember that female FBI agent that they outed? Putting her life in danger and risking American security. That doesn't get talked about enough. These are the human scum. They should be arrested. So I am calling on Capitol Police and or Sergeant at Arms to do their job and arrest people that are breaking the law inside our government. This will send a message to Americans that we don't just allow powerful people to break our laws and undermine our system.
Several Capitol Police officers stationed themselves outside the secure room as reporters waited outside for lawmakers to come back out.
Capitol Police, Sergeant at Arms, arrest Matt Gaetz, arrest Steve Scalise, arrest Debbie Lesko, and arrest Bill Johnson. Do it today. That is your job.
I want to know who's the person that gave the whistleblower? Who's the person that gave the whistleblower the information? Because that's close to a spy. You know what we used to do in the old days when we were smart, right? The spies and treason. Right? We used to handle it a little differently than we do now.
So what should we make of that? And what does it tell you about the president's state of mind, Eli?
Well, the fact that he started talking...
Well, no one on TV is willing to just say he is nuts.
Sir, the Constitution says treason is punishable by death. You've accused your adversaries of treason. Who specifically are you accusing of treason?
Well, I think a number of people. Bergdahl, traitor. He's a traitor. Remember the old days? In the old days, being deserters. Boom. In the old days, deserters were shot. Boom.
For people out there who aren't paying close attention, Trump is not so covertly anymore saying he should be able to kill anyone who gets in his way of doing what he wants to do. He has always had this mentality of a mob boss, and he even has mob connections in New York. And he's a sociopath, people. He is. Read the description of a sociopath, and it describes him perfectly. He should have been removed just for that years ago.
Firing squad. No, it's true. Bing, and it goes quickly, right? It's called, you're dead. Treason. Have done some very, very evil things, very bad things. I would say treasonous things against our country. If you look at Comey, if you look at McCabe, if you look at Strzok, if you...
The guy's sweating. It's him and all of his people.
It was really treason. And that's what it is. It was treason. Treason. You're just lucky I happen to be the president. They have unsuccessfully tried to take down the wrong person. That's treason. That's treason. Treason.
If you know his history, you know he is a vengeful person. That's what he means by the wrong person. He will go after you. He will destroy you. That's what we've seen. Remember Stormy Daniels' lawyer? He is in jail right now. He's been there for months. What about all the people who will not speak up? They know this about Trump.
The wrong person. That's treason. That's treason. Treasonous. Okay?
Speaking of what should not be allowed, we're seeing these politicians, they're mostly the conservatives, Republicans, committing what would be crimes if the average person did them, but they can get away with them. For instance, remember a couple of years ago or so, the Republican who threw a reporter onto the ground of his office? This was the day before his re-election, and he won. So he's in Congress right now instead of prison. And remember the video I made in 2016 showing actual violence? There's some things you've seen. There's that car attack. And I also showed some of a video on YouTube, some conservative who's teaching his conservative audience how to give liberals spinal injuries. I'm surprised that video was allowed on YouTube and that he isn't in jail instead. And he was showing actual footage of someone pushing someone down an escalator in a mall who was protesting, and he could have killed the person. And this YouTuber was laughing about it and showed it over and over and over. And a few weeks ago, I predicted that second shooting near El Paso, Texas, and some people laughed at me and said, this is a crazy video, suggesting there's a Trump militia. I'm thinking now that maybe I should just call it the Trump Army. These people are out there. Maybe you've never seen it before in this country, but it could happen. You know, we've had riots before. Who knows what these people will do? But we're going to find out soon. But we have heard Trump use the term locked and loaded. And he is. His brain is locked and loaded. What about his supporters? Some of your neighbors. They've got guns and they're crazy. And they now feel like they're having an injustice done to them.